And we are back with another episode of the Brian
and Mason Podcast.
Podcast. Episode 13, Unlucky 13.
Wow. What are we going to be talking about today, Brian?
I want to talk about this guy called Filippo Lippi. Another Filippo. We got a
Okay.
Filippo Sorcinelli that we talked about. Now we got a Filippo Lippi. He was an Italian Renaissance painter of the Quattrocento. Quattrocento, which is just a fancy Italian word for the 15th century.
I don't know a ton of Italian, but I know in Spanish, quattro is four.
Yeah. And Cento? What's that? Is that 100?
Okay, in the 14. I'm dying, Brian. You're making me do languages. So we were in the 1400s, right?
Yeah, Lippi, he was born in Florence in 1406 to Tommaso, who was a butcher, and his wife. He was orphaned after 2 years. Both of his parents
Oh,
died. I couldn't find out what happened to him. A lot of this research that I'm going to be talking about Filippo Lisi, a lot of it's kind of like hearsay from stories from other people talking about his life, particularly from this guy called Giorgio Vasari, which was like
okay.
he had like a bunch of factual stuff, but he's known to like embellish and kind of had a lot of known factual errors in it. So some of it we're going to be taking with a grain of salt.
Okay. One of those histories of like maybe he wasn't the greatest of all time and made everybody's heads explode.
Yeah. One, because Vasari was
Okay.
like really good at all the things because he was a painter, an architect, an art historian, and he was a biographer. And he like what he became
Oh,
known for is these books, like "The Lives of the Most Excellent Painters, Sculptors, and Architects" was a book that he wrote, and it's considered the ideological foundation of Western art historical writing.
interesting. So this was like the first guy to really write down the biographies of like great painters.
Yes, and
And
why it became popular is because it included Leonardo da Vinci and Michelangelo. So if they weren't as good as they were at the things that they did, he probably wouldn't have got as much renown as he did. But
okay. And I can understand when you're writing about Leonardo and Michelangelo, the other guys you put in there, you've got to kind of spruce up their resume a little.
right,
Like, well, I can't have the two coolest characters that everybody's reading for. There's got to be some other cool guys.
yes, and I wanted to point
Okay,
out too, because part of the thing why we know that he's regarded as including many factual errors, because I was talking to Mason before we started about how at th- he had made a an article about this other painter and was talking about how like he was pretty much like a piece of shit and that he didn't like him because this, that, and this, and that he didn't do things, like a Christian man should. And it's one of those things where, come to find out, he wasn't even alive in the same time period as this guy that he's trash talking. So it's like one of those things where it's like
oh,
one of
that's
his
great.
buddies was like, "Hey, I knew this one guy. Can you say that you knew him too and tell everyone he's a piece of shit? Here's all this silver. Make sure you make him look bad in your book. Appreciate it, bro. Thanks." kind of thing.
Well, and I'm wondering too if it's one of those of like he did a painting and somebody was like, "Oh, well, this other master actually did a better job."
Right.
It's like, "Oh, I'm gonna invent art history so that people in the future know that guy sucked."
yeah. It was like,
Okay, I
we
love that. If
we looked at the dates and he wasn't even alive during that period. There's no way he could have met that guy and known that
I'm the
personal.
father,
yeah.
I'm the father of art history. Don't question me.
Right.
What do the other books say? Oh, only I've got a book written down? I guess I'm king.
um, but so he got orphaned when he was 2 years old and he had to go live with his aunt, Mona
Okay.
Lapaccia. I love all these Italian names, so I like bringing them up.
Very,
Mona
very
Lapaccia.
Italian.
Oh, and you got to do the
Tommasio's brother.
Mona Lapaccia.
The sister of Tommasio.
And so he drew the short stick because she was too poor to raise him. So she was like, she decided she tried for a couple years. You know, he got there when she was 2. She waited till he turned 8 years old and sent him to the neighboring Carmelite convent. And so the
It's
convent,
actually pronounced Carmelite.
yeah, Carmelite. Well, and I like it too. It's one of those things I was saying. It's such an obnoxiously long name, and I like it that they call it the Carmelite Convent because, uh, obtusely, the other name that you'd have to call it would be the Order of the Brothers of the Blessed Virgin Mary of Mount Carmel, which is more than a mouthful.
Oh, that rolls off the tongue.
Right.
The Blessed Brothers of the Virgin of Mount Carmel?
Virgin Mary of
Yeah.
Mount Carmel. Yeah. A whole mountain made of
Oh, it didn't even.
caramel? Hell yeah.
And that's why Sundays are sacred.
Right.
Okay, so 8 years old, uh, Filippo's going off. I feel like that's not that crazy. I feel like that's a thing I've heard of, you got like a third son or too many kids, you send one of them to be a priest.
Right.
Okay.
And it was in this that Vasari started writing about Lippi too, because he knew that one of the first articles that he wrote in reference to his life was this one where he was saying, while he was in his novitiate and under the discipline of the grammar master, he did nothing but cover his books with drawings of figures, until at last the prior determined to give him every help in learning to paint. So yeah, he was just like a doodler in class and wouldn't pay attention. And they're like, fine, we're sending you to freaking art school. Just go learn how to do it professionally, bro. Seriously.
I do love that the 14th century was just like way more accommodating, like this kid can't pay attention. You're an artist, Filippo.
Right. We're just going to really make you lean into that now. I hope it was worth it. I hope you really like painting.
Okay, look. So my dad grew up in a Catholic household and went to a Catholic school, and he got hit by nuns. He was scarred by that. I cannot imagine in the 1400s just being like, "Nah, I'm a doodle." Filippo got his ass beat to doodle. You know
Right.
what I mean? This was not a just like, we'll let him go to art school. I'm sure they tried to beat numbers into him,
Right.
but it did not work. Like he was dedicated. He was like, no, I just love drawing.
Yes. Well, and so they sent him to this school, and he actually started doing really well, like straight from the beginning. And he was directly inspired by this guy named Masaccio, where the church
Mhm.
that he was like, or the convent that he was raised in, they had a bunch of paintings by him, and that's what. Oh, I forgot to completely mention too, and on here, this is Lipo right here. By the way, he painted. This is one of the last paintings he did in his life, and he added himself into it. So I just wanted to show, for reference, by the way, this is what the man looks like. But
Okay. I love that. I feel like I've met a Lipo. Like I've known that guy. Like
yeah,
that guy works at Target or something,
he
you
looks
know?
personable. Yeah, you could
Yeah.
attribute his characteristics to a lot of people. I feel like.
Yeah, like I mean like the guy on the right is a little bit of like a cartoony face, you know?
Yeah.
Versus like, oh, that's a guy. And I feel like you don't see that a lot in that historical paintings. Everybody looks a little too perfect, almost uncanny valley. So
Yeah.
it's nice to see some real humanity.
It's funny, by the way, I didn't notice till just now, but that it almost looks like the Thracian cap thing that we were talking about the other day that's supposed to be like a symbol for liberty or whatever. I don't think it is because I
That's
don't think it
right.
has the knot thing on top like it's supposed to, but that's what it kind of reminded me of.
Yeah, that big red Phrygian
Now, I
cap?
think it's called a Thracian cap because it's
Thracian cap.
whatever that time period is. That was like a sect of people were the Thracians.
Okay. Okay.
But I was gonna say he was inspired by that Masaccio style. And when he first started painting, it said that he painted a pope confirming the rule of the Carmelites and other pictures so much in Masaccio style that many said that the spirit of Masaccio had entered into Fra Filippo, which I thought was interesting.
I like how artists were over the top and dramatic 600 years ago too.
Yeah.
Like I could hear an artist saying that right now today.
Yes.
Okay.
And so, just a little bit more detail into the order and everything. He had to take religious vows in the order the following year after. Oh, here, wait, I got that mixed up. Yeah, at 16, he had to take religious vows, and then he was ordained as a priest. And I wanted to note too that he was known as a Carmelite priest, but another or synecdote is the word that they use, is known simply as a Carmel, which I thought was funny. So he was the one of the first caramel priests, and he kept
Okay.
what are oh man, I'm blanking now. What are those? What are those caramel
Werther's
treats?
Originals.
Yes, he carried Werther's Originals in his pockets and gave them to children. No, he didn't, but
Filippo looks like he would have Werther's Originals on him.
yeah,
He'd be a
mainly
little grumpy about sharing, but he would.
mainly for the ladies too. We're gonna come to find out he's a big ladies man.
Oh, he's a ladies' man. Isn't he a priest though?
Right. See, we're gonna get into
Oh,
that.
okay. Well, that's fun.
Because it's also wanted to be noted that this is what is known as a mendicant order, which mendicant orders are primarily Catholic religious orders that have vowed for their male members a lifestyle of poverty, traveling, and living in urban areas for purposes of preaching, evangelization, and ministry, especially to less wealthy individuals, which we wanted to clarify was different from some of the other ascetic lifestyle having people that we've talked about in the past, like, I'm spacing on his name.
Simon the Stylite.
Salmon the Stylite, yeah. He was ascetic in the way that he's like, I want to go practice my religion and I don't want anyone to bother me. I want to be left alone.
Yeah, I do definitely like that attitude of, these are people that are dedicating themselves to like actually helping the poor, going out and among their communities. Um, and I wasn't aware that there were other people considered mendicants that weren't Catholic. I thought that was like an exclusively Catholic thing.
Yes.
So it's interesting.
And so in 1432, he quit the monastery, but it was specifically noted that he was not released from his vows, which I thought was an interesting or note there. And in a later
Yeah.
date, in 1439, I just wanted to bring this up, he describes himself as the poorest friar of Florence, charged with the maintenance of 6 marriageable nieces. So apparently, he was making good money at the time, but apparently, the well being of 6 nieces was his uh, responsibility, and he's had to spend a lot of money doing that. And so he was like making these great works for like the Medici family, and they were paying him all this exorbitant money, but he spent most of his life being broke as hell.
Oh my God. That's interesting that he worked for the Medici family.
Yes,
That's not a family I would sign up. Are you familiar with Machiavelli?
a little
Kind of
bit.
so he's famous for writing a book
That's
called The
who Rick
Prince.
Ross buys cocaine from.
And Machiavelli is like the synonym for like crazy political intrigue. If something's Machiavellian, it is a David Lynch movie of nonsense political intrigue.
Oh, huh.
Yeah. Also like very synonymous with like the mob, the Medici family back in the day, of just like this big, powerful family you did not fuck with. Like the Medici's appointed multiple popes from their family because they had so much
Hmm.
money and influence.
It's funny, the only Medici family information that I know is from the Assassin's Creed video games. They're like the big bad guys in like the first 3 Assassin's Creed games. The Medici family
Oh,
is who has control of the Apple of Eden, which is what they use to control people and get them like in a mind control esque way.
okay, yeah. That is the level of like crazy the Medici family is. That if you're like, yeah, they've got a magic item that brainwashes people, it's like that makes historical sense. That actually fits.
Oh, that's awesome. But yeah,
So okay, wait. So he became a priest at 16.
Hmm.
And then later on, he's like, I don't like being a priest.
Yeah, he
Because
just quit.
you can't just quit being a priest. You have to like get approval from your bishop, and like it's a process. Now, like in the modern days, I'm sure back then it was like, you know, a ton of work and issues. And until you're officially released, like all the vows that you take, you are stuck with.
Well, and I like it that you said that too, or said released. I want to note here that I don't think that he was, because it specifically says he quit the monastery, and it's one of those things. He went off on an adventure and supposedly got captured by Barbary pirates. And so he's like,
Ooh.
so it's like, I'm not sure if he actually got like a formal way of being able to, or he's like, I quit. Oh, and then by the way, hey, sorry guys, I just got kidnapped by Barbary pirates. Won't be back for like over a year. Sorry guys.
The Barbary pirates were a huge issue in the Mediterranean, but it is one of those things of like Caesar was famously abducted by Barbary pirates.
Oh, I didn't know
So
that.
this has a little bit of vibes of like the dog ate my homework. Like this is the most famous convenient excuse that you could use if you were like delayed.
Well, and people were really suspicious because he's like, well, yeah, it was terrible. They held me as a slave for a year, but they let me go because did this awesome portrait sketch of the guy that captured me, and he loved it so much that he released me. And there's this guy called Louis Gillette.
Um,
Gillette, by the way, I thought that was
yeah.
cool. But he wrote this book called The Catholic Encyclopedia, and he considers the accounts from Lippi as assuredly nothing but a romance. So I'm pretty sure he just did that to blow smoke up people's asses. And and
Okay, yeah,
and it ties back into
100%.
stories for the ladies. Let me tell you about the year I spent as a captive with the Barbary
Captured by
pirates.
pirates. And the only way that I was able to win my freedom was through my amazing artistic skill.
Yeah, it reminds me of like
These
the
hands.
Captain Sparrow story where he's like, yeah, I had to kill sea turtles and then thread them together with my back hair to make a raft to escape the island.
Yeah, and it's like, what actually happened? It's like, oh, I got drunk for like 3 months until a ship passed by and picked me up.
Yeah,
It's like, this feels a lot more like what happened to Filippo Lippi, is he got drunk for 3 months.
right. But one thing that was cool is while he was gone, his paintings had become more popular. And this is what led the Medici family to learning about him. And they came into learning about his works and then wanted to commission him to do paintings for them.
Oh, hell yeah. So
And so you're
he's getting
like,
recognition.
yeah, and you're like, man, he just got back from his visit with the Barbary pirate, so he's going to go straight back to work, right?
Yeah.
Psych. This guy had to be thrown in jail by the Medici family and tortured to compel him to work. That's how much this guy loved partying, apparently.
Look, I'm all for not doing work. I support it, and I'm a lazy piece of shit. But I'm so lazy, if someone was like, I'm about to put you in prison if you don't paint, I'd be painting. I'd be like, wow, I feel so creative right now. Let me paint up. You would not have to like grab me and drag me into a dungeon.
Right. Well, and not
I
only did they do that, but they also had to torture him to get him to paint for him. That's how much this guy
what kind
hated
of
working.
what kind of torture? And also, going back, you kind of knew that this was going to happen. It's like if you took a job for the mob
Right.
and didn't do anything, it's like eventually the mob is going to hurt you.
Right.
Just out of principle. It's not even personal. It's just like, I can't have people showing up here and not working for me. It makes me look bad.
Right. Well, and I feel like he's got to be swinging at the knee so hard because he's like, they ain't gonna touch me. I'll get around to it when I get around to it. Because it's one of those things too. It's like when he was working, he like wasn't keeping up to the timelines that he was supposed to. So I feel like he's just like he'd go in and work for like 5 minutes and be like, no, I worked today. I worked for 5 whole minutes. Now it's drinking and women
Oh
time.
no.
Come on,
Oh
guys.
no.
Kind of
So
thing.
he's Man, I mean, I understand it, man, but pull that off where you don't get thrown in prison and tortured. How long? Do you know how long he was tortured?
So I couldn't find direct accounts of how long he was tortured or by what method that he was tortured. It's all speculation.
Okay.
And because I really did try to dive deep into that, because I wanted to know that too. I was like, so how hard, because I wanted to know how hard headed was this guy? It's like, how long did they actually have to torture him for? He's like, fine, I'll paint. I really wanted to
Well,
know super bad.
painting's not that bad because I can I'm like, oh god, it couldn't be more than like 3 days
Right.
before you're just like, fuck, I'll paint.
Yeah. So we don't know
Or
the
is it
exact time and we don't know the exact method, but there was a popular form of torture back then that was specifically used for higher class people too, like him, that they don't want to like mangle so they can't do his job. And it's called strappado, which is a form of punishment or torture in which the victim was secured to a rope and made to fall from a height almost to the ground before being stopped with an abrupt jerk. And how they normally did it, it
ooh,
was kind of like some BDSM stuff where they like bind your arms behind you like this and tie your wrists.
uh-huh.
And the rope is typically attached to your wrist and you're like hanging from your wrist. So it's like super painful on your shoulder joints.
Oh, and it's like pulling your shoulder joints out of position.
Well, it's because you're like hanging your whole body weight by your shoulder joints.
Yeah, so it's just shredding like your rotator cuff.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And so apparently that's what they did. They might have done to him, but we don't have specific accounts of it.
Right.
But so after that, he got his act together. I guess he wasn't a big fan of
I
that.
mean, so if anything's gonna do it, it's gonna getting literally tortured for not doing your job.
And I just wanted to point out too that it says that, you know, he's getting paid by the Medici family, who is this huge, well-known family, and they're paying him an exorbitant amount of money to do these things. And he still spent most of his life completely broke. And he had such financial difficulties that it specifically noted that he did not hesitate to extricate himself by forgery. So apparently it's like he had such money troubles. He was like, oh, you want that painting? Oh, you can't afford that painting from him. You know, that's like 10,000 doubloons, but I'll recreate it for just 1,000 if you want. Kind of thing.
I I mean, well, how good a painter is this dude?
Oh, and he's really good. So that's the next thing I want to show you. So first of all, I wanted to show you a little bit of this guy named Masaccio. When Lippi was at that convent as a child, they had these paintings around him, and it was served as a direct inspiration for him wanting to be a painter. And so before we show Filippo Lippi's, I want to show everybody a little bit of what inspired him. And
Oh, I
so,
mean, that's very pretty. So this is the guy whose spirit inherited.
yes.
Okay.
I'm not going to show the whole thing because it's not as important, but I just
Yeah.
want to show the
I mean,
style and the
this
lighting.
is yeah, it's very pretty. I love the gold and stuff, but it is very much that medieval church painting with like god awful ugly Jesus baby and like these weird wooden faced people.
Ooh, I didn't notice. I love their wings. Look at the detail on the wings.
I
That's
like when they
cool.
put color in the angel wings instead of all white.
Yeah, I don't know if I've seen any like that or noticed it before.
Hmm.
That's cool.
But yeah, so it's the traditional, it's all these very like flat characters. You've got the centerpiece is the Virgin Mary, the baby Jesus, and she's on this like throne.
Yes. And I just want to point out too, I hate whatever's going on with their eyes. I can't tell. In this painting, it looks like Jesus is looking at you and me right now.
Je- Jesus is watching both of us at the same time.
Yeah.
That's very much of like that's how you convey that he's always watching.
This one is
Because
like,
Jesus can take his one eye.
it's like no matter where you're standing in the room, it always looks like he's looking at you. And then here's another one. Oh, and I looked it up.
Okay.
This is some saint lady.
Okay.
Yeah, and again, what in the hell's going on with the baby face? It's still not
The
quite as
baby
weird,
face is
but
terrible.
weird again
Yeah.
in its own way.
But this is a little richer. I feel like a little more character.
Oh,
I like the
that's another interesting
I like the
detail I didn't notice. Look, the angel on the left has black wings and the angel on the right has white wings.
Oh, interesting. Because I mean, it never says what color the wings are, but in my head, oh, and then green wings up
I
top.
was gonna say, yeah. Huh,
But I
interesting.
mean, the black winged one is obviously evil, right?
Gotta be, right? I don't know.
It's got black wings.
And then here's
Oh,
another
okay,
one.
this is cool.
I specifically added this one to really talk about the lighting and how flat this looks and how even though there's like a background, I just really want people to keep this in their mind when we go into the Filippo Lippi pictures.
Yeah, because they're painted on here. There's a little bit of perspective with the building on the right, but it still looks so flat. It looks this kind of the same dimensions as the mountains in the background.
And again, had to draw them with the sexy calves.
Oh yeah. Here at the BAM Pod, we represent the sexy calf bros.
Yeah.
Never let it die.
Oh, I didn't see there's a guy on the right too with sexy calves
Right?
too.
It's the look.
Oh, I can't get it in frame over here. Okay, but anyways.
The people need to see, Brian.
Okay. Here, I'll fix it.
Look, and if you've missed our past episodes, in the Middle Ages,
Okay.
the calves were the sexiest part of a man. I want you to look at how high that man's robe is. If
Right.
that man bends over, you are going to see ass.
For sure, without a doubt.
1400s Italy, I think in the 1500s, we are going to get to a point where they have to make a law that says your tunic is like knee length because
I
men will be walking around with their literal ass and balls out.
was gonna say their balls hanging out underneath, just swinging in the wind.
Yeah.
That's
But nobody's
great.
paying attention to the balls. It's about them sexy calves.
Right. And here's another
Ooh, that's
Masaccio.
dramatic. Very dramatic, but again, like I can tell that there's like a archway behind him, but it's a very two-dimensional picture.
One, so why I really wanted to show this one too is one of the things that Lipo does really well is showing ethereal and like see-through things. His ability to put those in the forefront of an image too and having things in the background and the way that they shine through, he does really good. And I wanted to point that out because I think that this guy does such a terrible job. This is supposed to be like in reference to the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, and he doesn't do as good of a job, I don't think, as Filippo will do later in his life with making, showing the Father as an ethereal spirit and making it seem, I don't know, like, and this, it's all kind of like muddied and the lighting and everything. I don't feel like it gives, like, through interpretation, I know what he was going for, but I feel like Lipo does
Right.
a better job of illustrating the idea where you don't have to do as much creative thought in your head. You understand what he was
I
going
mean,
for.
well, and I mean, looking at this, I'm not that versed, but I could make the argument of like that's not God the Father, that's Joseph of Arimathea taking Jesus down for his crypt. You
Right.
know, I look if I'm a 14th century serf and I can't read, I need these pictures to explain it quick.
Yes. And I wanted to show this
Ooh,
because this is also important because Filippo does a lot of Madonna and child. Oh, and for the viewers, Mother Mary is, the mother of Jesus, but she also goes by Madonna, which I didn't know until I was doing this research because I kept coming across where it's like Mary and child, Madonna and child, and I'm like, wait, so are these the same people? Okay, they are the same people.
right. Or are we talking about the singer like a prayer?
Right.
Right.
One, who's the prostitute that Jesus hung out with?
Also, Mary.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's what I thought too. I'm like, okay, so I was getting them all confused too. I was like getting that mixed up. I was like, so is Madonna the prostitute that Jesus was cool with? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, there's Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, and then there's another
Mary
Mary that's like
Magdalene.
much less consequential that kind of shouldn't be a Mary.
Gotcha.
It's like one of his buddy's sister or something or wife.
Yeah, I need to get better at remembering that too. Mary Magdalene. Yeah. Because yeah, and I want to do a thing about her one of these days, just because I think she's so interesting and how people,
Oh,
the relationship with her and Jesus, and how people through time have skewed it from where I believe it was originally.
it's very interesting. We could do a whole episode on the I think there's a Magdalene gospel
Interesting.
that's supposedly written from a woman's perspective. But yeah, no, I mean, really cool art. I love the use of golds and metallics. Everything pops. But again, it's that old timey art style where everybody looks creepy and wooden.
Yeah, because again, yeah, I'm not a fan of the faces at all. I
No, and it's
love
like,
what's going on in the background, like the
is she
architectural.
on a throne or is that like a building behind her? Like, is
Yeah, I
that a
think she's
church
supposed to be
building
on a
behind her?
throne.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's just yeah, and it doesn't look. I was explaining to Mason, I was like, I don't think he does as good of a job as Filippo at making the subject look like a part of the background and the piece. Like to me on this one, it looks like this is copy and pasted on top of this, and the lighting isn't really going together for me, as we're going to see later on with
Yeah.
Lippo's. I think his composition and how everything flows together is a lot more natural and professional
Okay.
looking.
Well, let's see show me a good compositional lipo then.
All right, and before I show
What
you his first painting, I just want to give a little bit of backstory.
Okay.
So let's see. In 1441, he painted the altarpiece, the coronation of the Virgin for the nuns. Let's see. Yeah, he was appointed as a chaplain to the nuns at the monastery of Santa Maria Magdalena in Florence, and he was recorded as living there in 1456 to paint frescoes. And while he was engaged in his work, he met this lady called Lucrezia Buti, Buti,
Lucretia Lucretia Beauty.
Beauty, yeah. And she was a known as a beautiful boarder or novice of the order and the daughter of the Florentines Caterina Ciacci. I wanted to add that because I really like the
Is
Italian names Caterina Ciacci and
the
Francesco
fact
Beauty.
the fact that you're saying their names, I'm guessing there's somebody important. So she was like a noble daughter.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, so this is a rich girl.
And so Lippi found her and was like, "Oh my God, she's so beautiful. You gotta sit and be my model for the Madonna." And so
Girl,
that's how
don't buy
they,
that line.
right. And so that's how they
What happened
met.
next?
And they wound up
Mm-hmm.
supposedly falling in love and having sexual relations. And I wanted
I
to say it's noted that he abducted her to his own house. But the more research I did, I'm pretty
oh,
sure she liked the guy, and it was all copacetic.
okay. Let's run with that because it's more fun. I like the idea of a rich girl being stuck in a nunnery and like an artist coming in and be like, "You're so beautiful. Let me paint you."
Well, and what
That's
makes me
literally
think that,
Rose from the Titanic.
yeah, they were having like a
That's
religious like event thing where it was kind of like a party in the streets, and during that time he had organized uh, a way for her to escape and get away from the convent and and go live with him at his house. And so that's what makes me think that she was going,
yeah.
because he had to tell her and like, hey, when this happens, sneak off over here and we'll get you out of here, kind of thing. So it made me think that
Right.
she was
This
going along
feels
with it
much
all.
less she was abducted and more like she was taken from the church and the church didn't want to let her go.
Yeah.
Like, no, we can't let you run off with a painter. You're
Well,
a nun
well, because
and your
supposedly
parents are rich.
he went to live with the nuns for a while, And he was just like, I think he was having too much fun, honestly, kind of thing. Because
the only
he was getting paid
the
by the
only guy at a
Medicis.
nunnery.
Yeah. Yeah. And he was getting paid by the Medicis. And he was broke all the time. And that was like the common thing where it's like everyone that knew about him was like, yeah, Filippo's at the nunnery fucking nuns again and drinking hella
Oh,
wine. Fuck that
yeah,
guy.
yeah. Because like if you're a priest, you get free room and board.
Yeah.
Every dollar that he's making from his paintings is just gravy. And
Mm-hmm.
you did mention that he's got like 6 nieces.
Yes, and supposedly
But
he's
like,
financially responsible for him, and that's what he says is the real reason to why he's broke. Oh, guys, I got 6 nieces to take care of, but I'm pretty sure he was just getting drunk and partying all the time and spending his money on things that Lucretia wanted.
I'm gonna just say it. I don't think Filippo has nieces.
Right.
I don't think there were ever nieces. Okay, so this dude he fell in love with a nun. He moved to the monastery and he is just completely broke all the time, living his best life.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Hell yeah, Filippo. And I mean, I feel like the option of would you rather hang out in a nunnery where like we spin cloth 8 hours a day or like churn butter all day? Or would you rather go hang out with this artist that's going and hanging out with other cool artists?
Right, right. And that was one of the things, like, according to Vasari and other sources, the phrase that they use is the money being spent in frequent amours, which amours is just like another name for love affairs. And yeah, and supposedly that was like the gossip in the town was that Filippo was just banging all the nuns at the nunnery too, was like common gossip.
Okay. I mean, to be fair, whether he was having sex with multiple nuns or not, if he's having sex with one nun, that's going to be the rumor. Like he's
Right.
banging all the nuns.
Because it
You
says that
know?
he lived openly with Lucretia Beauty at the nunnery.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those of like, no, I'll do some priest stuff and I like painting still, and they love my paintings. So they haven't kicked me out, but I'm not doing all that. I'm gonna have sex with my gorgeous wife.
Yes. Well, and the other thing that he
Girlfriend.
spent was on wine extravagances because it was like the biographical sketches note that Lippi lived high. I thought was an interesting note. He was fond of women
Okay.
and wine and
I
generally
mean,
spent money
oh
as
god.
fast as he earned it.
I mean, every religious order that had a building back then, especially in France and Italy, had their own winery. Like
Oh,
it was
what?
because you have to have the sacramental wine,
Hmm.
you know? So pretty much every religious place had their own vineyard. So I am thinking that he had access to unlimited house red. And he's like, mm, I like the fancy foreign stuff.
All right.
So yeah, he didn't spend money on housing. He didn't pay for his meals. He didn't have to buy wine.
Right. And he's
This
like,
motherfucker was just partying.
yeah, and he's like, and the like one sect of women that you can't be with, he's like, yeah, no, that's who I want. Oh, I can't
That's what
have
I'm
the nun.
into.
Oh yeah, no, she's the most beautiful. She's my muse.
Oh
I'm
my
gonna paint her
nun.
as Madonna, and I'm gonna abduct her to my house. And no, you can't have her back, because yeah, it's the convent, the nunnery convent. Supposedly went to his house several times, like, give us our nun back, give her back now, and he's just like, nope.
Nope.
I'm Fra Filippo. You can talk to the Medici family. I'm under their protection, kind of thing.
I feel like you've got to have a pretty decent amount of power for like if the nuns show up in the middle of the town and start banging on somebody's door, doesn't everybody in town be like, "Well, yeah, I'll help the nuns."
Right.
But everybody in town is like, Lucretia's with Filippo now. She doesn't want to be a nun. Just
Right.
let her go.
When I feel like that's one of those things too. It's like, well, I don't know. If we fuck with Filippo too much, he's gonna draw us into a painting with tiny calves.
Ooh, Ooh, the greatest shame for medieval Europe.
Right. And it's like, and those are going to be up for hundreds of years, so I don't know if it's worth it. Just let them bang the nun, I guess.
I do love that there's a lot of stuff like we think Christianity is really strict, and of course it is. But there have been a lot of points in history where people are like, "Yeah, I'm not doing that," and everybody else just kind of had to be like, "All right,
Yeah. So
all right."
now we can start showing
How
some of
how
his
could
paintings.
this motherfucker better make me say wow?
All right. So I'm pretty sure this is the first painting he ever did. So for
This
reference,
better be nun banging good.
it's pretty good.
Okay, never mind.
Because I
Never
really
mind.
wanted to talk about
This
how,
is his first painting?
yeah, and the
Wow,
lighting and how
okay.
well she looks and how the background and the foreground look like all coherent pieces. And I wanted to point out
Jesus is
too,
still hideous.
yeah, Jesus has, and he's got a weird death grip on the neck. I don't know what that's about. That's kind of, he's like,
But
come here, little mama, let me
but
whisper something in your ear.
okay, but aside from that, wow, this is leaps and bounds. This is a different style completely than what we were looking at.
Oh, and I thought this was interesting. You see, do you know what this is down here?
So the A is a thousand. No, M is 1,000.
Yeah, this is
Is it
just,
Roman numerals dating?
yeah, this is the year. That's how you did the year. That's like 1432 or whatever. ADM, CCCC. And then I'm pretty sure it's does like a little asterisk. And because I'm pretty
Okay.
sure it's supposed to be like six C's or something like that.
All right. Well, no.
Oh,
So C's 100. M is millennia, so that's 1,000. D is deca, that's 10. I don't remember what A is,
yeah.
but so that's 400, 1,400, and 10 something.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then I wanted to make
Let's talk
sure
about.
that we see this too, because this is a really important detail that's going to be that I'm going to bring up again later on. As you see in this little snippet right here, how he has the the window to the outside right there, how you have that little snippet. And back
Yeah.
then, that's like a huge flex. Paintings inside of a paintings
Why?
are a huge flex
Oh,
because
okay.
it's
No,
all
that makes
about
sense.
like a dimensional thing, and it's like a painting of a painting being in there is way harder than just doing like a straight up scene of the landscape. It's way more
So
difficulty in terms of techniques that you have to use.
the first thing I noticed is that this is a woman in the painting versus all of these others where it looks like they're copy and pasted on the background. I fully believe that she is in this painting. I can see the depth. Like I have a good estimate of how big this room is, you know? And even like the small window on the outside, I'm like, yeah, that's like a quarter mile up the hill. I've got a rough idea of exactly where that is, you know?
Yes. And I also want to point out the fact that, in this one, it's kind of a small painting. He starts off with paintings, and as his life progresses, he gets into bigger and more grander um, artistry work. And I think this is another one of his very first pieces. Now, this is supposed to be a big deal because this is one of the very first paintings that has a portrait of two people in it. And at that
Oh.
time, that was supposedly a big deal. That, and again, he's doing the like painting inside of a painting thing, which is what they show with that close up, showing how good of detail he put into the background image.
So it's like a painter's Easter egg.
Yeah,
You're supposed to look at this and go, "Oh, that's nice," and then you look closer and you go, "Oh, wow, he's good."
right. That's
I
supposed to
mean,
be flexing.
I mean, that is pretty good. I can make out some pretty good details
And one
in
thing to
that little
note,
sliver below her neck.
in none of Masaccio's paintings did we ever see a painting inside of a painting, by the way.
I feel like we've already gone leaps and bounds. Like if this was a Masaccio painting, I wouldn't have this perspective of him peeking his head through the window. It would just be a flat image.
Right.
Because yeah, you're actually getting multiple views. You're getting the foreground, you're getting the midground with the guy's face on the left, and then that background shot.
Yeah.
So he is really doing some technically different and innovative stuff.
And then these I don't know much about. I just wanted to include them because I love the colors. So I just wanted to show that real quick. And
Man, the faces in here are so that last one, like the guys on the right, again, to me, it's like I could see those people in at modern day, you know?
and again, he does it again in this one with the flex with the outside and how he does the lighting. I love this little snippet. There's like these people in the background. Oops. You see that like trying to
Yeah.
hide over there?
The background, the outside almost looks a little like surreal too.
Yeah. And
Really cool.
then we've got this one. And again, I just love the colors and the lighting and how he's able to tie the foreground and the background and like really noting how this pillar is in front and how it doesn't even look like a part of the, it looks like this is kind of like the frame for the painting. I just think that's such an interesting
Right.
layout for it, how it's like popping out of the piece almost where it doesn't look like it's a part of the painting. And yeah, and the background
Yeah.
work, the contrast of the light and how the sun is in the day where it's not hitting these buildings on the left, but it's hitting on the right. Really good compositionally. And then here, let's see.
Oh.
Okay. So I don't want to get to that one yet. I think, yeah, no, I think this is when we start getting into the frescoes. This is when he started moving away from doing paintings on a canvas and started doing these huge art installations that took up the inside of, like, I'm pretty sure this is the one that he started doing inside of another convent, not that original one. It's some convent in Legnaia called San Quirico, where he was appointed as the commendatory rector, which is like an administrative position.
Real quick, I think you're nailing all that Italian. If we are the best Italian speakers, let us know down in the comments what all we got perfectly correct.
Right.
All right, so fresco. So this is, um, I'm not entirely, but I know it's like working with wet plaster, and you apply the paint directly to the plaster.
Yeah, and
So
they
he's
used a bunch of different techniques for frescoes too. And that's the one where they like have the egg, they used like eggs in some way to get the whites on it, like egg whites and stuff. It's like a real complicated thing. I didn't dive too far into what makes a fresco, other than
oh,
it's way larger.
and this is what you see on the like traditional Italian, you know, when you go inside a church and the entire ceiling or something is painted, that's a fresco generally, correct?
Right, yeah. And I
Okay.
wanted to zoom in here because this is what I was talking about earlier and how he does such a good job of this is supposed to be Mother Mary being anointed by God, I believe. And so that's why the crown that he's holding looks ethereal and her veil is all ethereal. It's
Oh,
supposed to be like symbolic. And yeah, and I think he does a way better job of displaying that in his paintings than the guy that originally inspired him.
yeah. Look at the silk that they're holding between them. You can see the color change based on like the background. Right? If you were
Yes.
looking through it, if you were looking onto the white marble, you would see a like very light silver, but a darker background, you'll see the gold.
And that's a huge flex. And he
Wow.
leans into that more in more of the paintings. He gets like even better and better at it as we go on.
Yeah.
And again, I just wanted to show the details in the clothes here and the faces and everything. Really, really good details. Really like his works.
Is that him on the bottom right?
No. There was some
The one kneeling?
speculation that this was supposed to be him, but it's not.
Okay. Look, I'm just saying, if it was me, I would be in every photo I painted.
I used to know who more of them were, but I forgot. Like this guy over here, is some saint. This dude's some saint. And the
Oh,
guy
it.
over here, this is that Bacchus guy that we had talked about in another episode.
Interesting. Okay. Hmm.
That's
Was
the
there
Bacchus
anybody
one. Mm.
was there anybody contemporary for the time? Is there anybody like, and this was, the ruler of Florence, or this is a Medici member or something?
No, not that I can remember.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
But
other
yeah,
than the
this is
two
such
saints on both sides.
yeah, really, really amazing work.
And then there's another one. I just thought
Real
this one was
quick,
funny
look at
because
the
the.
angel wings. He's got leopard spots.
Oh yeah, that's interesting.
Huh. So I guess we're learning today that, people really got crazy with the wings. I hate that we got locked into the solid white.
I just like this painting too because I'm like, what's up with the Harry Potter hand coming out of the top?
Well, that's the grudge, dude. She's coming out of the well.
Right, right,
Oh no, we've looked at this photo and now in 7 days.
right. Let's see what we got. Okay, yeah. And then so this is what we were talking about. These are all frescoes. This is a bigger
Oh, okay.
example. And I think those ones that I was showing you, those were samples. Like this is from that fresco.
Okay.
And here's just some more. I just wanted to just to briefly show it, just to show
Yeah.
that he had done a fresco before this other
Oh,
fresco that I really like.
the caves are really cool. You really see it's like almost an MC Escher level perspective on that
Yeah.
compared to, flat backgrounds. That's crazy.
Okay, and this is the
Oh,
one.
wow.
So this is one of my favorite ones, and this goes back to the one I was telling you about. That's like a super flex because he did a painting inside of a painting, and he's got the halo thing going on with her, and she's got the transparent veil. And I think this is really good execution on how he does the veil
Wow.
with how the light's hitting it, and how since the light's hitting it more on her collarbone here, it's less transparent than when it goes up here and the light's not hitting it as much. I don't know. I just think it's really interesting.
Yeah. And at first I didn't get what you were saying, but I see that she is leaning and outside of the frame, which feels like he's just elevating it to like, yeah, she's in a photo, but she's also out of the photo.
Right. And because see, you can see too, she's casting a light on it or a
That's
shadow, I mean.
crazy.
So yeah,
Shadow,
it's
yeah.
all just
Okay, so yeah,
flexing.
she's in front of okay.
And then this is one of his last. Oh, I forgot I had this one too. I thought this was a cool piece.
Ooh,
So again,
that's very surreal. That's very trippy.
in the details, he does that like stenography type stuff where with the dots and everything. In this, I
Yeah.
love the details in this. And again, too, like this guy right here, I thought that's kind of interesting how he's portrayed.
I feel like he's floating in a forest, right?
Yeah, it's like very, because I'm pretty sure that's like some saint, because that's Bacchus again as a child. He's always noted with
Okay.
that like uh a top
Fur
that's like
jacket.
made from, yeah, like the hide of a wolf or something. But
That's
yeah,
actually a cute baby Jesus. That feels like a rare one.
right.
Oh, that's a cute little baby. He's doing the little thing too. First I thought he was flipping us off.
Oh, right.
He's like, interesting.
Then I can't see. Let's see. I can't remember what I had next. Okay, yeah. And then so this is my favorite part.
Wow. Now that is a painting. That
Ooh.
from a distance looks hella trippy up top.
Yeah, and so this is what
What
he was
what are we
working
looking
on
at?
before he died. And this is where is it? Life of the Virgin, his last frescoes completed after his death by assistance. Too. So he didn't actually finish all of this himself. I think he got really far into it and then he had so I do want to note he had two sons and or a son and a daughter, and his son went on to become a famous painter. But he also had two pupils, I meant to write their names down. I forgot, but they wound up becoming pretty famous themselves and did great later in life. But so they helped
Okay.
finish it.
He'd already probably sketched everything out. It's like you just got to finish it.
Yes. And so why I this fresco is originally why I even started learning about Filippo, because I thought that this was like one of the coolest things I'd ever seen, because I've just never seen a fresco with
That's
a rainbow in it, first of all, and the level of detail and how the rainbow's supposed to be like reflected in the water beneath them and how the colors are inverted. I don't know. I just think the whole thing is so detailed and
look.
interesting to the eye.
I know that there's no way to back this up, but I'm just gonna say it based off of what I've learned about Filippo. That dude did shrooms.
Yeah,
That dude did shrooms, and it was like, oh fuck, I've unlocked the secret. I've never seen such dramatic colors from something from back then.
right.
Like that is
And again,
ridiculous.
look at the little details in there, man.
Yeah, and I don't know how much of a psychonaut our viewers out there, but like seeing the weird light lines from light sources is definitely a sign of tripping. I'm just gonna point it out there. Your vision looks a little stifled. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and again.
So is this a earth on the bottom, heaven above kind of thing?
Yeah. Because again, this is the
Very cool.
coronation of the Virgin. He really loved painting that for some reason. But yeah, I think these are all different panels like showing her life and stuff. And that picture that I had shown at the beginning down here in here, that's a close up of right here. That's where Fra Filippo, which I wanted to note, which is funny. He's like he never put himself in a painting. And it's like I just see that he's like, I know this is gonna be the last one that I do before I die. Fuck it, I'm painting myself in it. I don't care.
Fuck it, I'm painting myself. And let's end on the image of Filippo. I want to get a close up of this dude
Okay.
because this has been a crazy story. He went from a priest, started having sex with a nun and ran away with her, still became a famous artist, like
Yeah.
had beef with the Medicis.
Hmm.
Filippo may be my hero.
He, well, like I said, yeah, it's like he did what he wanted. He spent his money on whatever he wanted. He didn't worry about leaving money to his sons or anything. He just for real lived in the moment and did whatever he wanted at the time. I feel like he's like a OG Giga Chad in some way.
Feel like I need to drink a bottle or two of wine in Filippo's honor at this point and go seduce a nun. You know, just like Filippo would have wanted.
Right.
Oh, and last thought. Do you think he loved painting the Madonna and Child so much because that gave him an excuse to invite young women back to his apartment?
Yes, definitely.
He's like, "Yeah, baby, it so happens I'm working on Madonna and Child 17 tonight.
Right.
Play your cards right, you can be Madonna and Child 18 too."
Yeah. And I just want to mention too, so he died in October 8th, 1469. And this is one of those things I couldn't find
Oh,
anything to back it up. But the mode of his death is a matter of dispute because it is said that the Pope granted Lippi a dispensation to marry Lucrezia, which pretty much just meant that the Pope was um, getting rid of their vows so that they could marry. But supposedly,
okay.
before the permission had arrived, he had been poisoned by indignant relatives, or in another version, by relatives of someone who had replaced her in the painter's affections, it says. And again, this has to be taken with a grain of salt because I think that this, again, is from recollection of Vasari. So it's one of those things where we don't know whether or not 100% if that's factual. But I wanted to include it at the end.
You know what? I feel like what we've learned about Filippo, he would love for his legacy to be poisoned by one of his many lovers.
Right.
All right.
That's all I
Well,
got.
that was amazing and enlightening. Thank you, Brian. And is that
I think that's it. Like I
all
said,
right?
I learned about him and I thought his paintings were cool. And I don't know, just an interesting story, an interesting life. I just
Yeah.
wanted to bring it up. And again, it was just someone that I didn't think that many people would have heard of before. So I hope you guys
Yeah.
enjoyed.
We'll see you next time on the
Brian and
and Mason
Podcast.
podcast. Nailed it. Cut.